Breeze is back in the map pool, and Tejo wasn't released the last time this map was being played competitively, so I decided to go through the depths of VLR to find a game where Tejo's being played on the new Breeze. Now, on this pistol round, Era are walking down mid with four people, and it looks like their plan is to fast flood B or A with Tejo nukes. Now, you're going to see the Tejo nukes going off on the choke, and you'll see an Astra suck that is also on the ground that combines with the Tejo nuke to make them do double damage. And then you'll see him stack another Tejo nuke to further delay anybody else that doesn't get in through the timing that is allowed. Now you'll see these people have very low health already, and it makes them die to one body shot basically from a lot of the guns. And while they're flooding in, you'll see the neon stun come in, even though they're technically safe over here. It makes the situation that they're in very difficult because they're technically undercover, but they're getting stunned. So Tejo gets a free frag on this person that is neon stun, and Neon is double swinging this jet with the Cypher that is sitting backside. And I think it's very well planned out util that utilizes Tejo in a cool way. It's basically just throwing a molly on the choke, but combining with the Astrostruck gives you much easier frags in general. Now, this is another round you're going to see Tejo get a lot of value on the B flood. They get info in mid, and Tejo instantly starts rotating towards B once he hears there's noise in. Cypher is playing passive backside, waiting for his teammates to come in with flood util, and then you see the neon stun come in, and you see the Tejo nuke come in, and then you see Cypher start to get active because he has util to fight with, along with this cage. So you see the nuke popping off, and he is fighting aggressively with the nuke. He has Neon holding his back sight because she's flooding in. You can see the Tejo nuke coming in to punish anybody that's skilled on the right side of sight. Notice how Cypher is fighting with the util, being aggressive because he has teammates. And they end up in a meat grinder where they have no choice but to just sit there at the choke because they're getting delayed by Tejo nukes. They're getting stunned. They're getting Astra sucked. It's a very difficult situation to come out of the choke from. And they also have to worry about Cypher cages, Cypher trips. It's just really hard for the attackers to get through any of the Tejo util and get into an advantageous position. Another part of the map I feel like Tejo is very good on is the A main part because it's so enclosed. And you'll see Tejo and Neon and Astra combine all their util to make this living hell for the attackers. So they have a feeling that the attackers are coming through A main, and Neon stuns. You'll see the Astra stun going off. You see the Tejo nuke coming in and forcing people out here. Now, I would say that the nuke is actually better behind because you have more util towards the front. So if they're exposed, then they're stunned, and then you can frag them. And if they fall back, they're stunned, and they get nuked and die anyway. So I would change that util from Era and improve it in that way. And you can see the Neon also getting value through popping his wall and getting out. And you see the Tejo stun that further delays them. It is very difficult for the attackers to get through any of these really new tight chokes that, Riot made. And Tejo is perfectly suited to fight at any of these areas of the map. Combine that with Neon and Astra, yeah, you're not having fun. Now, this is another round that you're going to see the Tejo ult really come into play. They really have no options when they go into A main against the Tejo. So they take A main. Era are getting ready for the meat grinder. And they're going to ult behind them to force them out. They're going to get Astra stun. They're getting Neon stun. They have no choice but to move forward with this ult. And I'm pretty sure they put a nuke over here too, so that there's no part of the map that is left safe for them. And they just get mauled. Like, they have no option. So if you want to run Tejo in your rank games and you want to find a way to use your ult, you just wait at the orb, Once you hear somebody coming in, then you use your ult, you nuke the only spot that's open, and you force them out into the open. And then you can see the nuke getting an additional value here where this person is trying to fight through mid, but then he ends up getting nuked. He's forced forward, and they're fighting them. And you see this guy that's trying to trade his teammate get further delayed, and he's forced into another 1v2. It's very good Tejo util from Era. Now, even though this is an anti-eco, it's pretty tough for F9 to deal with this a main fight again. He tops the orb. Neon stuns as a reaction. You see the Tejo nuke coming in. You see the Astra Star coming in. And this guy just has no chance. I feel like they overuse util in this situation. But this comp is really good at fighting A main if you want to try this on your team in Premier or in ranks. Now, this doesn't really have to do with Tejo, but you can see how well thought out Era's plays are, specifically on this map. Their open set plays are pretty well thought out. Now, if you look at the mini map right now, you can see him pinging all the spots he's going to star. He's going to put a smoke here. He's going to put another smoke here for their A split, and then he's going to put another star here so that he can stun the people that are not getting neon stun by this neon splitting A. And I'm pretty sure Cypher's going mid so that you can get info on the people walking down and cage the cross so that Neon can cross safely. So you'll see Neon off the rip, stun this person trying to dart or get any info at mid, punish him for playing in this area, and you see that the Viper is also stunned here by the Astra Star that was placed down, and Neon has the freest frags ever. Unfortunately, this guy hit a nice shot or whatever, but that util sequence was very good. You can see Tejo droning out a main for his team. You see Cypher lurking behind the Neon entry, and you see the smokes paying off because they're getting onto site pretty freely. And this is just an unfortunate timing, but that play was very well thought out by Era. I like it as a pistol, and it caught the defenders off guard. Really. Unfortunately, I think they throw this post plant, but, you know, can't play perfect in every situation. Now, Tejo gets a lot of value controlling A main on both sides, as we clearly saw in the defender side of rounds. They aim to implement the same thing on their attacker side. They have Tejo solo taking A main with a nuke and a drone to get one, to force the defenders off of A main control, and then two, to get info for his team that is splitting A currently. He realizes that the A main defenders are going to push him and isolate him, so he falls off, and then he throws a nuke at bricks to force anyone that would be trying to play around the bricks angle into the open. And while it didn't help necessarily in that round, I feel like that's the intent. And it makes Neon's pathing a lot easier. Her kill potential is much higher because nobody can be tucked on bricks. Now, he's doing a good job of falling off while the defenders are pushing him. He gets a frag, but they still end up in a very advantageous situation, and I feel like Tejo was a big part of controlling A main. So I think Era had a lot of good ideas on how to use Tejo util on the new Breeze. Now, the Tejo nukes are very good for stalling the choke at B. They're also very good for flushing people out of cover, like delaying the plant at B. That is very exposed if you get nuked off. So you get nuked off the default plant, and then you're just in the open. You have no place to play really if you have a backside anchor and somebody playing tunnel. And then they also had very good util combos with the Astra Suck at the choke at B. They had Astra Stun on A main, combined with the Neon Stun, combined with the Tejo nuke. Now, I would have put the nuke in a different place in the specific round that I'm referencing, but I still think they had very solid ideas on how to implement Tejo on the new, very tight chokes on Breeze, and I think they had good game plans going into it. It clearly showed because F9 had a lot of trouble adjusting to these things, and anytime they would take a timeout or try a new plan, they kind of just got mopped. So, props to Era.